Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, that weirdo who wears a stack of hats on his head. And yeah, it's been a while since I've put out videos. I've been busy, it happens sometimes. But I do have a topic that I really want to talk about, which I'll get into in just a minute here. This is probably going to be a very rambly video. I didn't even bother setting up my camera or anything, I just pulled out my mic and started recording, and here we are. And I'll just throw some gameplay on the screen to watch while this is going, so I hope you enjoyed that. So the Switch 2 has been out for about a month and a half now, and I've been playing it like crazy. I've been playing Mario Kart World, Street Fighter 6, and a lot of Switch 1 games, which run way better on it. Yeah, I'm just loving the Switch 2. But yeah, one of the games I've been playing a lot is, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I just can't get enough of that game. It is so nice on the Switch 2 where you could just change the character costumes on the select screen, and it doesn't take like 5 minutes, it's instant. It's the little things, you know. So Smash Bros. Is on my mind once again, so I can't help but ask, what's going on with Smash Bros.? As we now know, Smash Bros. Director Sakurai has been busy working on Kirby Air Riders, which I'm sure will be awesome. So does that mean the next Smash Bros. Is like a ways off because he's been busy with something else? That could very well be the case, and it might be overly optimistic of me to think it might be anything otherwise, but it might be. Okay, so while I don't necessarily think the next Smash Bros. Is coming in anytime soon, there's one possibility I think might be happening. A handful of Switch 1 games have gotten, or are getting, enhanced versions called Switch 2 editions. So what if we get Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Switch 2 edition, and that is a mouthful to say, wow. But yeah, getting even more content added onto Super Smash Bros. Ultimate could definitely hold us over until the next game. And you know, I know they said Sora is the final character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but if this is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Switch 2 edition, that's a different title, so they wouldn't be lying. I don't know, I don't know how much that really matters at this point. But what's got me thinking that there might be a Switch 2 edition of Smash Ultimate is that last year in 2024 they added new spirits and spirit battles to the game after like years of doing nothing with it. They had spirits for stuff like Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and that was really cool. But it's got me thinking, like, was there more to it than that? I mean, as small and minuscule as it is, they added new content to the game. After like years, they got the team back together and everything. So was that really it? I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe they just got the team together just to do more spirit battles and then that was it. I don't know. But I feel like there's gotta be more to it than that. I can definitely see it being like they decided to do the Switch 2 edition a while back and got the team to do the spirit battles for the base, Switch 1 Smash Ultimate pretty early on. As someone who admittedly wants more Smash, that scenario makes a lot of sense to me. Another possibility is that the next Smash Bros. Game is coming soon and it's well into development, and it is being directed by someone other than Sakurai. That could happen. If that were the case, I would definitely have concerns, but I don't want to be overly pessimistic and be like, no one could direct Smash Bros. Other than Sakurai, it will just turn out horribly. But I would be worried. Obviously there are many people involved with making Smash Bros., but Sakurai's influence has definitely helped give that series its magic. Although if I remember correctly, I think the last Super Mario game that Shigeru Miyamoto directed was Super Mario 64, and all the Mario games after that had someone else directing them. And those games turned out fine. I mean, they all turned out to be great games except Super Mario Sunshine. But anyway, the point is that the next Smash Bros. Could turn out to be great with someone else directing it, but I would feel a lot better if Sakurai were. I do remember him saying something in one of his YouTube videos on his channel, saying something along the lines of that he tried to find a replacement for himself but couldn't, and something like he couldn't see Smash Bros. Without him. So I think this scenario is the most unlikely. And I guess I'll just get this out there. Another possibility is that the next Smash Bros. Is coming soon, and it is being directed by Sakurai, and he is just working himself like crazy directing 2 games. I don't think that's happening, but just throwing the possibility out there, who knows. Sakurai is known for being a workaholic, so I wouldn't call it impossible. But yeah, I wouldn't count on that being the case. And of course, there is the possibility that there's just nothing Smash Bros. Related currently in development. That could be the case. I did see rumors going around, and always take rumors with a big grain of salt. Like a truckload of salt. But anyway, the rumors were saying that Nintendo asked Sakurai to do another Smash Bros., and Sakurai agreed but wanted to do Kirby Air Riders first. So it could be that Smash Bros. Is not in development right now, but that's next on his list right after Kirby Air Riders finishes, and yeah. I wouldn't like having to wait, but that would be cool. I do remember Sakurai saying in one of his videos on his channel that he doesn't know how Ultimate is going to be topped. And I mean, I guess it's possible that he just doesn't even want to try and he wants to leave Smash Bros. Ultimate as the last Smash game because it's not going to be topped. I would understand that. I would be sad if that were the case, but I would understand that. But I remember him alluding to that like Brawl was going to be the last Smash Brothers and even Melee, so he often implies things will be over when they won't. Sakurai is a man who loves to give pleasant surprises. So either way, I think it's safe to assume that a new Super Smash Bros. Game will come at some point. It's more a case of when and not if. Okay, so going back to the possibility of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Switch 2 Edition, the question there is, what would they add? I think they would save the big characters that are considered, super hype for the next full Smash game. Those internet-breaking characters like Steve was for Smash Ultimate. So I don't think a Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition would get someone like, say, Master Chief from Halo. I see a potential Switch 2 Edition to get what would be considered more safe picks. And I'm not saying that to downplay characters, because one of my favorite characters that got added to Smash Ultimate was Min Min, which a lot of people considered a boring character. So I'm not trying to dismiss or downplay characters here. I'm just talking about like on the scale of internet hype. A character I could see being added to a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Switch 2 Edition would be someone like Dixie Kong, which Dixie Kong is one of my most wanted, so I would be super crazy happy about that. But she would be considered boring on like the internet hype scale. And of course, they could add another promotional character too, because Nintendo likes doing that. Hell, they could even add a 9th Fire Emblem character for whatever the next Fire Emblem game is. I just made myself cringe even bringing that up as a possibility. Ugh. They could definitely add someone like Pauline, for her recent popularity and her prominence in Donkey Kong Bonanza. She would be a really good addition to the roster. Either way, I feel like character additions in a Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition would almost definitely be first party, but not to say that third party additions couldn't happen. A more niche character like, say, Arl from Puyo Puyo would be awesome. And I'm admittedly not too privy to this stuff, I just imagine that licensing costs for someone like Arl versus, say, when they got Sora in Ultimate are just worlds different. Again though, that's just my hunch, I don't have any actual inside information on that or anything. I'm just saying. Now, if they are making a new Smash Bros. Game exclusive to the Switch 2, then the sky's the limit on who they could be adding. I've already brought up this character, but Nintendo and Microsoft seem to be really close lately, so I could see Master Chief happening. I'm not a Halo person myself, but I have to acknowledge how huge of a deal that would be, like holy crap. Crash Bandicoot is still one of my most wanted characters, and he would be a huge deal, so I could see that happening too. Let's hope. And I gotta bring up Doomslayer, because he got a Mii costume in Ultimate, which was something. And Doom is such an iconic, historic game series that Smash Bros. Is all about. So Doomslayer getting in the next Smash would be awesome. I don't know, I could just keep naming characters at this point, but I'll move on. Beyond just the characters, a Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition could get stages, more music, more spirits, lots of stuff like that. And I know that stuff isn't considered as important as the characters, but it's still something. Pac-Man could finally get his Pac-Maze stage from 3DS added in Ultimate, so he could have a decent stage finally, not that stupid Pac-Land stage. And I mean, it's Pac-Man, he's gotta have the Pac-Maze. That still bugs me. It would definitely be nice for Sonic to get a stage that isn't Green Hill-esque. Something like Chemical Plant Zone would be so awesome. And yeah, that's a long shot. I don't expect that to actually happen. I'm just throwing out possibilities. We could get a new Mario stage to represent Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a new Donkey Kong stage to promote Donkey Kong Bonanza, I don't know. There are so many possibilities for potential new stages they could add. And then new spirits, Mii costumes, music. That could be anything. I mean, we got Mii costumes for Undertale and Fallout. Stuff like that could just be anything. So I'm not even going to try and predict what additions for those kinds of things could be. So yeah, I think that about covers all the possibilities for what could be going on with Smash Brothers. Obviously we'll have to wait and see, but if you ask me, I still think there's a really good possibility of that Smash Ultimate Switch 2 Edition. And maybe I'm just being way too optimistic there, but I feel like if they got the team together to do the spirit battles and add the new content, even as small of content as that is, it's like there's gotta be something to that, right? Maybe not, I don't know. But what do you think? I want to hear what you all think is going on with Smash Brothers. Leave a comment with your thoughts on Smash Brothers, or just any feedback in general. I always like feedback. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a hat-stacking good day.